Farmers are out on streets in the island nation of Sri Lanka demanding the lifting of a ban on the chemical fertilizer import, which they say has massively affected their livelihood. They have been holding rallies for the past several weeks, calling the decision anti-farmers. The Sri Lankan government had imposed a blanket ban on the fertilizer import in May, calling it destructive to the health of the people of the nation, and had urged the farmers to switch to organic farming, which the farmers say is not only expensive but low yielding.
Thousands of farmers have taken to streets in the farmland districts of Sri Lanka at a time that usually marks planting season for the rice farmers in the country. They carried symbolic coffins reading "The Death of Farming" and urged the government to import adequate fertilizers so that both their crops and livelihood could be protected. In May this year, the Rajapaksa government had announced a ban on all imports of chemical fertilizers, including pesticides, weedicides and fungicides. The government defends its decision, saying it wanted to promote healthier agriculture practices and wanted to put the sector on a more sustainable footing. The farmers, however, complain they neither got the government instruction nor assistance in order to switch to the mode they were asked to.
ඉතින් අපි පාරම්පරික කුඹුරු ගොවියෝ ඉතින් ඒවා තම තමන්ගේ කුඹුරු තියෙනවා සේරම කරගෙන යන්නේ මේ අවදී ඉතින් පොහොර ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි ගැටලුවකට තියෙන්නේ පොහොර දැන් අපිට ලැබෙනවා ඒ ලැබුණොත් දානවා නැතිනම් ඉතින් ඒ විකල්පයක් නැහැ වෙන අපි කොම්පෝස්ට් පොහොර හදාගන්න අපිට දැනුමකුත් නැහැ.
As a result of the government call, farmers are planting less than usual. Farmers Association and agriculture economists say this phenomenon, under which people across the country are planting less, could bring down annual paddy yield by 40% this year. The agriculture sector of Sri Lanka contributes 7% to the $80 billion GDP of the nation, and a significantly low produce can further damage the economy that has already been in troubled waters in the COVID times. They have also sounded alarm bells about the impact it will have on the food security policy of the country.
Thanks to Green Revolution, a lot of people talk about negatives. Fine, keep those negatives aside. The positive impact is that we are being able to feed our nation. Now this decision is going to reverse that, and that worries me. That worries all the scientists, based on fact and figures, based on science, not based on myths. That's why I'm against this.
In response to the demonstrations that are growing by the day, the government as of now has made some course corrections. This month, it has imported limited amounts of potassium chloride and liquid nano nitrogen bottles, both used during the rice growing season from India. Another container of China had been returned for Beijing's material was found contaminated. And the government has now said that it was worried about the indiscriminate use of the fertilizers and never intended to dent farmers' income and livelihood.
So at that time, the right option was to ban that much of protest, right? The health sectors, all people, even everybody against what is this chemical fertilizer is doing. It is not the harm of a chemical fertilizer, it is the way we have used it. Or best alternatives are not either used or not popularized. That is the very unfortunate situation.
Nearly 2/3 of the country's 22 million people are dependent on agriculture. Normally, some 2 million Sri Lankan farmers cultivate about 700,000 hectares of paddy between October and March. Experts opine that Colombo must address the issue immediately and import fertilizers in higher quantities from neighboring India if they want to prevent an agriculture crisis.